This After Effects tutorial is sponsored by 𝗬𝗫𝗀𝗀.com. In this After Effects tutorial, we will learn how to create this simple yet cool looking typography animation using some shape layers inside of After Effects. You can use this animation in a number of different ways. Maybe you can use a different shape and make it a cool animation out of this. So with that said, I am Nikhil from dopemotions.com, and without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's call this render as our main render comp. 1920 by 1080, 30 FPS and 10 seconds long. Hit OK. Let's go into the shape layer tool and select the ellipse tool. We don't need any fill, so I'm going to click right here and set the fill to none. Hit OK. And we can set the stroke to around 125. It looks good. And let's hold Control and Shift at the same time to create a perfect circle, just like so. And I'm going to align this into the center using my Align tool. You can find it under Windows Align. I'm going to call this layer blue, as this is our blue circle. Let's duplicate this. So hit Control D to duplicate it. Call this red. And we can also change the layer color to red as well. Go into the stroke and let's set this to a nice red color, more like a pinkish red color. Pull that back. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my title action save, and let's move the red circle to somewhere around there. Select the blue one and move this like so. So we have this really nice look. Now we can go ahead and animate them. So I'll go to, let's start from here. So I'm going to select both the layers, hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe. Let's go to around 1 second and 15 frames. All right. And let's move them closer to each other. So I'm going to move this one just like that and move this one like so. All right. So basically we have this very nice and simple animation. Now I'll go to around 3 seconds. Let's copy this keyframe, hit Control C, Control V to paste it. Select this one, hit Control C, Control V to paste it. So now we have a pretty nice and simple animation, but let's make it look a bit more interesting and let's add some character to this simple animation. So I'll select all the keyframes, hit F9, go into the graph editor, and here I'm working in the speed graph. By the way, I have created a complete dedicated video on speed graph, which you should definitely check it out. It's an in-depth tutorial covering just speed graph. So in case if you're working in value graph, you can right click and select edit speed graph. I'll place my time indicator somewhere around there into the center, and let's pull this handle holding shift to the right. And I'm going to try to keep my influence at around 90 or 92%, something like that. Yep. Select this one and drag this handle and keep the influence at around again 92. Same I'm going to do right here. I'm going to go right over here, pull this holding shift, set the influence to around 90 or 92. Select this one and drag this like so. And now if I preview our animation, you can see it looks a bit more snappy and looks pretty cool. Now I want to make the animation looping. So I want the complete animation to keep on looping throughout the composition time. So to do that, I'm going to use a simple expression. I'm going to hold Alt and click on the stopwatch. Let's type in the expression, that is loop out, open and close parentheses. Make sure your O is capital. Then I can copy this expression, hit Control C, hold Alt and click on the stopwatch and hit Control V to paste it. And now we have this looping animation. Pretty nice and simple to do. Now let's select the red layer, hit Control Shift C to pre-compose it. I'll call this red. Hit OK. Select the blue layer, hit Control Shift C to pre-compose it. Call this blue. Hit OK. Then let's jump into the blue composition. I'm gonna create a new solid. So hit Control Y, call this mask. and we can use any color for this, doesn't really matter. Let's use a red. Hit OK. I'm gonna place this right over here, somewhere around there, and change the track matte of this one to alpha inverted. Now if you don't see this track matte option, you can always hit F4 on the keyboard and that should make it visible. And then I'm going to select the mask layer, go into effects and preset and search for fast blur, a fast box blur, double click to apply that, and let's set the blur radius to around 150. So we get this really nice look, and the idea here is to create a transparency, a nice fade out for our circle, which looks pretty good, I think. So I can just select the mask, I can just adjust this a little bit like so. All right, now I can just simply copy this layer, hit Control C, go into the red composition, hit Control V, change the track matte to alpha inverted and move this just like so. And we can adjust it accordingly. Pretty nice. Now if I go back into my render comp, you can see we get this really cool look. Maybe I'll adjust the blue one a bit like that. All right, so far so good. Now before we proceed further with this tutorial, let me tell you about today's sponsor, AE Juice. They have an amazing I Want It All bundle which contains over 5,000 animated elements like transitions, presets, titles for your project. It comes with a handy pack manager plugin, and this is one of those investments that will last you for a lifetime. Plus they also have a starter pack which has over 100 animations that you can try it out for free. For more information, check out the link in the description below. Now I'm going to select the red composition, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, put this at the top, then select the rectangle tool and create a mask like so. And this is going to create an illusion of a knot, as you can see right over here in this section. It looks like they are tied up and have a knot in between them, which is the look or idea I'm going for. But right here, I see a bug. You can see this shapes are overlapping. So to fix this, I'm going to jump into the red comp and let's hit select the layer, hit P to the position, and let's move my time indicator right over here, and let's move this a bit out by a few frames, and boom, there we go. Pretty nice. Now let's select everything, hit Control Shift C. I'm going to call this animation, hit OK. Let's hit Control D to duplicate it, and let's call this glow. So I'm gonna enter and type in glow, go in effects and preset and add our native glow on this. Let's hit Control Y to create a new solid which is going to act as a background. I'm going to give it a nice dark blue color for our background. Let's put this at the back, put this at the back. But as you can see, it's not looking the way I want because we need to switch this project from 8 bits to 16 bits. So I'm going to hold Alt and click on this small button, and now boom, there we go. We have a very nice and a clean glow over this. Now obviously I want to change the color of my background, so I'm going to add a fill on this. Purple color is not going that great with this, so let's try with a darker desaturated blue. That looks much better. And then let's select the glow layer. I'm going to adjust a few things. First of all, let's increase the radius to all the way up by 500, and that is going to give us the look that I am going for. Pretty nice. Then I can select the text tool and type in whichever text, whatever text that I want. I'm going to type in something like creative. You can add in maybe your own title, your own text, and let's place it below the glow layer. And as you can see, we get this very nice look. I'm going to increase the text size a little bit and make sure it's aligned into the center. Now we can animate the text to go along with the shape. So I'm going to go at the very start. Let's select the shape layer, click on this arrow, go into animate, and let's add a tracking. Let's maybe add a tracking of 20. I think 20 is a bit too much. Let's go with 10. Create a keyframe, go to 1 second and 15 frames, set this to 0. Let's go to 3 seconds and copy this keyframe, hit Control C, Control V. Then I can select the keyframes, hit F9, go into the graph, and the same exact thing as we did before. I'm going to create a peak into the center. Again, use the influence of around 90 to 92%. This will help us to create a more snappy looking animation. Something like this. So now let's preview the animation. Let's see how it looks. Yep, I think it's looking pretty nice. You can see we get this really interesting look. And by the way, you can play around with this technique. You can use maybe a different shape, maybe a different text, and get a really unique style out of this. So that is how you can create this cool glowing typography animation inside of After Effects, that too without using any plugins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you always get notified whenever I post a new video. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.